you the big picture, and I think we can put out the points one by one. What is the big picture that has now emerged 24 hours after the DMK chief Karunanidhi decided to pull out of the government? Big picture number one, the fact is that this UPA government is not falling in a hurry. The fact is that this UPA government, with the help of the Samajwadi Party and Mayawati, will continue at least through this budget session, i.e. till the end of May, till June. It would seem that neither Mayawati nor Mulayam Singh want to push for that, for an election in sometime in June, July. That's not going to happen. So therefore, Kamal Nath is right to the extent that the numbers are with the government. No political party at the moment wants to move a no confidence motion against this government. We saw what happened to the Trinamool Congress when they did it before the winter session. They fell flat on their face. So a no confidence motion is unlikely to be moved against the government. The government is reasonably secure in the numbers and the buffer provided by Mayawati and Mulayam, at least for now. Number two, on the resolution, it is extremely unlikely that any consensus will be achieved either within the government or with its allies and the opposition on a country-specific resolution. This is a pure red herring that we are carrying on consultations, that we are ready for an all-party meeting. The government knows such a consensus is almost impossible to achieve. Friday is the date in Geneva when the resolution will be moved against Sri Lanka in Geneva at the UN Human Rights Commission. So the time is not with the government, but the government wants to give the impression that it is serious or making a serious effort to try and evolve such a consensus. Such a consensus is unlikely to happen, and therefore there will be no resolution. DMK MPs will continue to disrupt Parliament. Number three, the big picture. Yes, the numbers are with the government, but from now on, this government cannot rely on Parliament to push through any major bills. The legislative agenda of this government has been constricted. What it can do is use the cabinet and administrative mechanism to push through certain decisions. Now, this is a worry for the government because it then means that the right to food, land for the landless, and the land acquisition bill may well get stalled. These are three schemes with which the government wanted to go to the people in the next election. As I've said, till June, July, it appears unlikely that the SP, BSP will withdraw support. But post that, all bets are off, because it would appear that after that, particularly if the government is able to push through even one of these three bills that I mentioned, even the government may be in a position perhaps to virtually go back to the people. It would seem, therefore, that there are two dates that the government is looking at for the next general election. One is that October, November, December date when you will have elections in 4 states. That is the earliest perhaps that you can have an election. One last point. It is clear the big picture is that the government has given up on the DMK. The government has decided not to reach out to Karunanidhi, at least for now. This doesn't mean that Karunanidhi will not fight the next election with the Congress, because the tradition of Tamil Nadu politics has been that one of the Dravida parties always fights with a national party. It would seem as of now, therefore, that the government has decided we are secure in our numbers, we have given up on the DMK. The DMK is unlikely to bring us down. If at all there was any party brought a vote of no confidence, the DMK would abstain rather than vote against the government and burn their bridges totally. So the big picture that is emerging at the moment is that yes, this is a lame duck government, unlike what Kamal Nath says, to the extent that its legislative agenda is constricted. But this is not a government that is going to fall down in a hurry. To that extent, the government still has a 3 to 4 month window within which they can attempt to bring in some legislative agenda, difficult though that might be, but till June, July, certainly they will make that attempt. If that attempt fails, then you will have an election in November, December. Mayawati and Mulayam, as you know, are mercurial, but neither of them want an early election, or at least an early election as early as July. So I think as of now, the government is secure, and I think that is the big picture in terms of legislative numbers. The other question, of course, is the legitimacy of the government, and I think on that there is a huge question mark, because you can be in ICU and continue to survive, but when you are in ICU, your capacity to actually take big and bold decisions is considerably constricted. That's the big picture, Bhupin, that has emerged at the end of these 24 hours, that you have a government now which is a seriously constricted minority government, but which still has the numbers in Parliament to survive, particularly because no other major party, including interestingly the BJP, at the moment wants to bring down this government. The BJP too would like the allies to once slowly to slowly move away from the government. You will see a lot of rhetoric from the Samajwadi Party, a lot of rhetoric from the BSP, all of which will damage the credibility of the government. That is what the BJP wants, rather than trying to attempt to defeat this government on the floor of Parliament.